This may be our last hot day of the year, and those who have a pool had plenty of great days this summer to enjoy it. Not so for a homeowner in Valley. She expected to have a pool for the grandkids. It hasn't happened. Mike McKnight investigates a dispute over a pool project that led to a lawsuit and questions about the wording of a contract.
I have not gotten an answer once on, can you please give me a timeline?
After dipping deep into her savings 16 months ago, Mary Ellis alleges that Premier Pools and Spas has taken too long to fulfill her dream.
But I finally did file a lawsuit against them because I deserve to have a pool because they have $75,000 of my money.
By contract, the company requires 45% paid when the contract is signed and 50% at excavation. So Mary claims in the lawsuit to have paid Premier Pools and Spas all but 5%. Why?
Because I wanted a pool and that's what they said I had to do.
Mary has photos of a subcontractor pouring the pool April 27th and alleges it has sat incomplete through the summer. The homeowner says it's only contained rainwater, and since then, a half dozen times she's hired someone to come in and pump it out. Mary says that for 6 months, her grandkids have not been allowed in her backyard.
They can fall in, it's dirty, it's got all sorts of things growing in it, and it's been like this for so long.
The president of Premier Pools and Spas, Aaron Stanger, declined an on-camera interview, but sent me a statement saying Premier continues to actively work to complete the project. Due to uncontrollable factors like weather, the Ellis project has suffered from delays. But senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord says since pouring of the pool April 27th, there have been 118 days without measurable rain.
We've got great weather.
Premier's statement also blames delays on labor shortages and subcontractor issues.
These are just general excuses.
Mary hasn't filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, in part because Premier Pools' contract states, prior to posting a social media review or seeking assistance from the BBB, the company shall be notified and given an opportunity to remedy any situation. If there's a review posted or the BBB is contacted without the company being notified, the agreement will be terminated, and there's no mention of a refund.
If they aren't comfortable, filing a complaint with the company, we want them to be able to contact us so that they can use our services to help them resolve the dispute. We don't want them feeling that they can't do that. And again, we've asked the Attorney General about the permissibility of language like that in a non-disparagement clause.
Premier says language in contracts related to complaints on social media or the BBB helps provide the best chance at promptly resolving any disputes.
I feel muzzled.
Though seeing plumbing pipes installed in September, Mary Ellis says after $75,000 paid and 16 months of waiting for pool completion, she's swimming in frustration.
And I feel so upset, and I look at all the money that I put into a project that has never even happened.
On your side in Valley, Mike McKnight, 6 News.